You're tired of the 9 to 5 grind, but the idea of saving 70% of your income to retire early sounds impossible. What if I told you there's a different way to achieve financial independence? One that puts you in control of your life long before you hit your 60s. It's called CoastFIRE, and it's not a sprint, it's a smart marathon. I'm TJ, and like many of you, I've been grinding away for years, often putting in over 120 hours a month as an IT consultant. It's work that pays well, but it's a long way from my passion. My personal why is simple. I want a life after 6 p.m. I want to have dinner with my wife, work on my book, and spend time on what truly matters. This isn't just a theory for me, it's a path I'm actively pursuing. And today I'm going to show you the 3 essential steps to make it happen. When most people think of financial independence, they picture the traditional FIRE movement. It's a full throttle sprint to retire in your 30s or 40s. It demands an extremely high savings rate, often 50% to 75%, and a compressed timeline of intense saving, usually just 5 to 15 years. This path requires significant sacrifices, front-loading the pain to get to an early finish line. CoastFIRE, on the other hand, is a more balanced approach. It's a short, aggressive sprint at the beginning, but after that, you get to coast. You still retire at a traditional age, but with a major difference. After hitting your CoastFIRE number, you can drop your retirement savings to 0. This allows you to make career and life choices based on passion, not pay. You're still earning, but the pressure is gone. It's about securing your future now, so you can enjoy a much more flexible life for the rest of your career. The entire CoastFIRE strategy hinges on one thing: knowing your CoastFIRE number. Without it, you're just saving aimlessly. This number is the amount you need to have invested today so that it can grow to your full retirement goal without any further contributions. First, you need to know your full FIRE number. Estimate your annual retirement expenses and multiply that by 25. For example, if you think you'll need $60,000 a year, your FIRE number is $1.5 million. This comes from the famous 4% rule, which suggests you can safely withdraw 4% of your portfolio each year in retirement. Now for the magic. The key is to front-load your savings. Save aggressively and consistently in your 20s and 30s. This is the hardest part, but it's the most impactful. The earlier you get your money into the market, the more time compound interest has to work its magic. The formula is simple. Your CoastFIRE number is your future FIRE number divided by a factor that accounts for time and growth. For instance, if you're 30 years old with a $1.5 million FIRE goal and 35 years until retirement, you only need to have about $272,000 invested today. That's a powerful and achievable number. It means if you hit that goal, you could stop contributing and let the market do the heavy lifting for you. Once you hit your CoastFIRE number, you can take your foot off the gas. This is the game-changing part of the strategy. The psychological benefit is immense. You're no longer pressured to max out your 401k or IRA. The constant stress of saving every last dollar is gone. Your focus shifts from saving for tomorrow to covering my expenses today. This freedom allows you to make career and life decisions based on what makes you happy, not just what pays the most. For me, it means trading those 120-hour work weeks for a life where I can have dinner with my wife, work on my passion projects, and take care of my health. Your job no longer dictates your life. It simply supports it. This is where your vision of a life after 6 p.m. becomes a reality. Just because you've hit your number doesn't mean you can completely forget about your investments. The market can be volatile, and a major downturn could impact your plan. Similarly, inflation could cause your retirement expenses to be higher than you anticipated. This is where vigilance and flexibility come in. You're not on a rigid, all-or-nothing plan. If the market takes a hit, you may need to resume saving for a little while to get back on track. This isn't a failure. It's a key part of the strategy. A little vigilance, checking in on your portfolio once or twice a year, allows you to make sure you're still on course and to course correct if needed. Ultimately, CoastFIRE is a powerful strategy that puts you in control. It's about saving hard early so you can live freely later. Calculate your number, shift your focus, and stay vigilant. Do those 3 things and you'll be well on your way. If this video opened your eyes to a new way to think about financial freedom, hit that like button to help other people find this strategy. And if you're ready to join me on my own journey to CoastFIRE, make sure you're subscribed and have that bell icon turned on so you don't miss the next video in the series. Let me know in the comments if you've already started your CoastFIRE journey or what questions you have.